All right, this is Eli Pierce down on the far end, Jeremiah Robertson, and Zach Rubio to my right. You know, this, like I told you guys before we started filming, this is a lot more fun after a W than it is after the past 2 days. I was really proud of the way that we never laid down, we never quit. We came with an effort today, but then we matched it with the execution that we're supposed to have, especially the last 4 minutes of the game. You know, they executed beautifully the last 4 minutes of the game, and when we got them out of their game plan of the box and one and made them go man, you know, that kind of put them in disarray, made the difference in the game. So I was really happy and pleased with the way that they played and the way they executed. I couldn't be prouder of all 10 of them. You know, but these 3 guys right here, they had a big part in that execution. So I'm pleased and proud.
For all 3 players, just simply, how important was it to get this win, to be able to get the win in this tournament?
It was important. I mean, it'd be bad if we went out without a win. Just went out and compete.
It's good to beat them 3 times in a row.
Yeah, and that's one of the things we talked about. It's difficult to beat somebody 3 times. And it doesn't matter who it is. I even use the example. It wouldn't matter if we played our 6th grade rec league team. It'd be really hard to beat somebody 3 times in a row. And you know, that's something to be proud of, no matter what. It's a difficult task, and you know, they made it very difficult for us today. You know, they played well. They executed their game plan, and you know, they held Jeremiah down for most of the game. So they executed and made it difficult for us. So it was real big.
And for each of y'all, if y'all to answer this, you know, y'all been kind of asked various questions in terms of what do you think of this tournament? You know, what's it mean to be a part of it? But now that y'all are done, what does it mean to y'all to be able to participate in this for 3 days now?
I like the experience, honestly. I just felt like it was good for us moving on. You know, to continue to get better and just, yeah.
And I mean, I know this question is mostly for them, but what I like about it for them is the exposure. You know, what you guys are doing and getting this right here, the exposure to get their story out. People know who they are, because you know, you check scores, but the score doesn't tell the story of the game all the time. So, you know, the exposure that these kids are getting for this tournament, and everybody in the county watching, you know, there's people that are talking about basketball, you know, on social media that I never see talking about basketball. So it's a big deal for that aspect. So, you know, I don't know if it's the same for them, but for me, that's why I think it's been a great experience. I appreciate every coach that had anything to do with putting this on. You know, all the kids and the players that are showing up, competing hard and doing their best, and hopefully this continues to be something that we do every year from here on out. You know, past my career, past these guys' career, hopefully this is the new standard.
Coach, I got a couple things I want to ask you. Number one, you guys opened up a lot of energy. I mean, right out of the gate. Is that something you stressed that you needed to get out of the blocks fast?
Oh yeah, we talk about that a lot. We talk about starting fast and finishing strong. You know, we use those things a lot, and lots of energy. You know, like I talked about yesterday, our margin for error is razor thin. We're small, we're young, so we have to execute the little things. And one of those little things that we talk about is, like you said, lots of energy, because it helps you make other plays. So it was big.
All right, next thing I want to talk to you about is at halftime. You did something. I don't know what kind of speech you had. Win one for the gift or something, because you came out and went on a 14-1 run.
I really challenged. Like, I got in people's faces and challenged them. And you know, it's what I told. There's a time and place. You can't always do that. But you know, I challenged a couple of kids that were not playing up to their capabilities. And to be honest with you, up until this point, the 3rd quarter has been, you know, our Achilles heel. And so we talked a lot about coming out with that. But yeah, at halftime, I challenged some kids, you know, big time, and the whole team. I challenged them to go out and to make a statement. So I didn't realize it was a 14-1 run, but I knew it was a run, and you know, that's big. And that's credit to these guys and the other 7, is that they accepted the challenge, because we talk about it a lot, but you got a choice to make. You can either fall down, peel apart, let it happen to you, or you can fight. And we chose to fight today. So I'm really proud, and it's a credit to these guys. So
last thing I want to leave you with, Coach, you talked to us on day 1. You said the effort wasn't there. And on day 2, you said the effort was there, execution wasn't there. Today you put it all together. What does that mean for you going into area play?
It's big. It means you know, it means they're listening, number one. You know, it means that it matters to them. It means that they care, you know, and that's big. So, but as we go throughout the year, what we've talked about is everything that we do from the first game that we tip off until the last game we play, all that matters is getting ready for area play. That's all that matters, because our goal is to go to the playoffs. So it does not matter what happens up to that point, other than working on the things that we need to do, the execution, the effort every day like we talked about. So what we've done these 3 days, continually improving each day, if we keep doing that, we're going to set ourselves up to be exactly where we're supposed to be come area tournament time.
Okay, I got 3 seniors. I've got Braden Hill, Donovan Gray, and Hayden Lipscomb. 3 seniors.
This is 2 wins now at the end of the tournament for you guys after losing to Southside. Just talking about kind of, you feel like you built momentum heading in to get back to the schedule?
Well, I don't, hopefully, but the main thing was we played harder and harder after that embarrassment the first day, and we played hard for 4 quarters the last 2 games. So that's an improvement over the first game, and that's what you want. You know, it's like I told them, you can't go back and get a redo on a game. I mean, it's gone. So all we can do is put it behind us and work and come out and play hard the next games. So, and they did that, so that's a credit to them.
For all 4 of you, what has it meant to kind of participate in this tournament? I know you've been asked that all week, but now that it's over for you guys and just been able to play in it 3 days, seeing other teams play, what's that been like for each of you?
I mean, it was a fun tournament, coming here and competing with all the teams we did. Wish we would have started off better, but it is what it is. Can't really go back and change it, so I mean, it was a fun tournament though.
And I was hoping we'd beat Southside so we could play teams like Etowah and Gadsden City, but that's not what happened. And we didn't play very good in the first game, but it was still a fun tournament. It was good to come out here and watch some of the games too. Like watching Etowah and all play good and see some of the good competition. And yeah, that's about it.
Like I said, wish we could have played better against Southside, but it is what it is. Can't change it. We just got to get better as the season continues. And it was a fun tournament. Hey, we can't do it next year, but it was fun.
You know, I've enjoyed getting to be around all the other coaches and getting to see their teams play, the teams that I normally don't get to see play during the season. And so that was a good part for me. And you know, us getting this started one day, hopefully these guys will look back and say, hey, we were part of getting that started. And hopefully it'll continue to grow and get bigger and bigger every year.
Coach, I'm going to talk about something I was really impressed with was your defense first half, holding to 18. It looked like they were very frustrated. I know you guys come out a lot more aggressively defensively in the first half, and it showed. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, and it actually led to some cheap baskets. We ran the break well, and so our defense led to transition offense for us, and I thought we did a good job on that. Donnie pushed the ball up the floor better today than he probably has all year, and that led us to get some good looks and some easy looks at some baskets. So hopefully we'll continue to do that. You know, there's some teams where we're going to try to slow the pace of the game down, but we want to push the ball most of the time, and we got better at that the last 2 games.
And Braden, you specifically, I noticed from game 1 to these last 2 games, you're a lot more aggressive offensively. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say Coach had a talk with you about that.
Yes, sir.
Started. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Coming in against Southside, I just wasn't mentally here. He knows that, and it took me just saying that to get the point across to myself. So I just had to come back out and pick it up, and with the help of these guys and my teammates, we were able to get the job done the last 2 games.
All right, now this is for all 3 of you guys. This is a huge question, man. The area play's about to start. What are you guys going to do to change your legacy? What kind of legacy do you want to leave at Hopes Bluff? It starts with you guys being leaders. Can you talk about that going into area play?
Well, we haven't really had a good start so far to the area. We're 0-2 right now. But, you know, we've also not had a lot of practices, you know, to get some of the things down. But I think we're about to start playing some good basketball here soon. We're all on the same page. We're all sticking together. So I think we're about to start beating some good teams, I think, if we just do it, like our coaches say, and play hard and keep our motors running.
We're just going to have to really get ready for the teams that play. Can't underestimate anybody. We know what we're going to have to go do, how we're going to have to get there, how hard we're going to have to work. So it's going to be hard, but I think if we work like we can, we'll be all right.
We got really good teams in our area, so we're gonna really have to work on our defense the times we have to practice, and we'll just get ready for that, and then we'll just figure it out as we go. We have to not having a lot of practices under our belts right now. We gotta kind of practice as we play. So that's what we've been doing, and it's getting there. We're gonna start. We're gonna get there soon.
Coach, I'm gonna close it with this with you. I know you've been very humble and saying a lot of other guys were involved and helped make this happen, and that is true. But all the other coaches to a man say that this is kind of your child that got to graduate from this.
Again, I don't like taking all the credit for that, because a coach from another team could have easily said no. I did ask, but luckily all the coaches had, were positive and had a vision for this, and we were able to get it started. And getting it started is big. It's not perfect. There's things that we can do a little bit better next year as a group and everything. I think Gadsden City has done a tremendous job of taking it and going with it. And so, I can't say enough of what all that Mr. Young and Coach Lambert had done. But hopefully everybody will continue to help, and will continue to grow. Hopefully get more sponsors, get more people involved. I think there's people that probably would have sponsored that, we weren't able to reach this year, because I don't remember which one of y'all I was talking to, but we're trying to get our teams ready, and it's really tough in trying to go out and to communicate with sponsors. So hopefully we'll get more people involved in that, and the tournament will continue to grow. And hopefully maybe the girls will be joining us, but if not, we need to keep this going and continuing to grow. And I was going to go back on something that the guys have said. We haven't had a lot of practice. I think this is our what did I say? This is our 13th game.
Yes, sir.
This is our 13th game. We've had 8 practices, but we do not use that as an excuse. Okay, and they know that, and they weren't using that as an excuse. What we're saying is, hopefully when we've had to use some in-game stuff to work on stuff, and hopefully we're going to execute better the more that we do get along. But that's not an excuse against anybody that's beat us or anything like that. When we've lost, the teams have beat us. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully when we do get a little bit more time, and we're going to have some time next week, then we can start getting in sync. I thought, though, playing, we did some things a lot better today than we've been doing. So hopefully we'll continue to do that.
This is Ethan Wells. He's one of our seniors. Brock Condo, he's another senior. Brian Benefield is also a senior for us.
Finished 2-1 in the tournament. Just talk about that. What won the last 2 games? How does that momentum, you think, carry the rest of the season?
It definitely carries over. Be a big boost for us. I thought that was a great win for us. I think we was down 10 or 12 at one point, battled back, and they'd bump it back, and just kept battling back, and eventually was able to get a little bit of control of it. So, proud of the guys, how hard they played. All 3 of these played outstanding during that game. As far as this tournament, it's been a great experience for all of us. Being able to pick up 2 good wins while we're here, that's always a good thing. So
I want to say Brian had a floater off the glass, pitch out by 2, and then he missed the free throw, and then Brock got the rebound, put it back up. I thought that was a huge sequence.
No, it was. That was definite. Like I said, these guys, they played hard the entire year. I'm glad to see some good things start happening for them. That's just to say how hard they have played. They deserve it to be able to battle back, get a good win. Ethan came to us from Coosa, so I know it meant something a little bit more to him. It's always good to be able to beat a school that either you come from or even a rival, I guess you'd say. So.
For the 3 players, 3rd day, 3 games into it now it's over for you guys. What has it meant to be a part of this? First time in history this has been done?
Oh yeah, it was great.
I like everything y'all did, how y'all set up and everything. It was great being the first ones to play in. It was real fun.
I feel like it was great, and this tournament helped us get better as a team too.
I feel like it was a good experience for us, not only playing like an actual Etowah County tournament, but playing in like an all Etowah County tournament with every private and bigger school. It's good for us to get better competition than what we normally play.
Coach, I want to start out and ask you a question. At the end of the third, it was 55-55. What was your speech going into that fourth quarter? What did you tell your team? Because they fought back. I mean, you guys were down big early. It looked like it was getting out of hand, and it just kept a little bit, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. What was that speech? I think it was pivotal.
No, it was just keep battling. I felt like really before the end of the first half, we started battling back and playing each possession at a time. Biggest thing in basketball is when you come down to score on the offensive end, can you get a stop on the other end? Being down, we had to do that over and over. I thought these guys did a great job at that. Got us to where we wanted to be at the end of the ball game. So.
And for you players, I'm going to ask you guys something individually. You guys had a lot of heart tonight. It looked like you guys kept going. Who's kind of starting to run out of gas. Could y'all sense that a little bit, and did that help you, pick up your games a little bit more, seeing if they were getting tired?
Oh, yes, sir. Like Coach said, we was down by 10, and the judges told us to push back, and we seen maybe they was getting tired, so we just had to keep going and not let off the break.
I feel like the halftime speech really energized us to do better, so we pushed through it more.
I think it was after like the third quarter, whenever we had tied it up, and I had seen that we were starting to get them a little gassed, so I just decided to start pushing on the offensive end, and I think that helped us out a little bit, especially on the pick and roll. They couldn't really defend it as well as what we expected, so we just went for that and succeeded in that.
Coach, you're a pretty senior-laden team with area play and all that that's happening. Talk a little bit about things you got to do to help improve and try to peak at the right time going down the stretch.
With the team that we've got this year, we are very senior-led. Got 10 seniors and 3 juniors that play. Juniors do an excellent job of their roles and all. But having a senior-led team, I talked to these guys the other night. At some point, you got to take over. It's about y'all. It's not what I tell you. Y'all know how to play. And as a senior, fortunate for us, as many as we have, you want all of them to lead that way. So, I think they're getting there. It started to felt like, I told you the first game we played, felt like we played a little selfish. Well, these last two was right the total opposite. Played very unselfishly and played together. So.
Yeah, I got senior Caleb Cates and senior Clay Waits. And it was a tough one. I mean, it was, Glencoe did a great job. They played very hard. Efforts up and down. That was going to be an emotional game, across town rivalry pretty much. And it was a good game. I mean, I think the crowd got a good game out of it. Anyway, it was exciting. It was tough.
Evan found out early in that fourth quarter. Just how tough did that make it for y'all later on that 7th stretch?
Well, I was calling a timeout right there. I don't want to really comment on that call because I don't want to come off like I really want to come off. But that was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. That was my fault. Should have had him out, but I was trying to get a timeout, and he got that run out. I was getting him out of the game right there at that point because I knew we had to have him down the stretch, and yeah, that was pretty critical.
Coach, jumped out to a big lead, and understandably so. Your rotation's a lot tighter than most teams in this tournament. Did fatigue come in there towards the end of the game?
No doubt, mentally and physically. Yeah, I mean that's where I preach this every day to these guys. They hear it all the time. I mean, you have to be mentally as tough as you are physically tough to win a game like that. I mean, high school sports are emotional enough as it is. And, in a game like that is where the focus comes in. And it goes back to day in, day out at practice. And I tell them that. I mean, if you don't, you got to be mentally tough at practice. And that's what we focus on. These guys know that. I mean, that's what we try to do. And tonight we did. We're playing some. You know, it was times we had a chance there. I don't know what we were for free throw line. I didn't even look, but it was bad. You know, and they know that, and that was critical. Glencoe did a great job, and they played hard, no doubt.
For the two players this week, you've probably been asked this tons of times. What does it feel like, you know, playing in this tournament and your mark that you've made? And you know, to me, we've been talking about this off the air. This is the best game we've watched. I know you guys come up on the short end of the stick, but everybody got their money's worth. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. It's just fun being out here with everybody you know. Just whole county's watching, and it's just fun. It's fun to come out here and compete.
You gotta take the words out of my mouth, and it's an honor to come out here and be the first guys to come out here and do it. It was fun. It was fun doing it.
Coach Led, it's been a pleasure, man. You've been absolutely outstanding this whole week.
Yeah, thank y'all. I mean, it's been fantastic. I'd like to say, you know, thank Gadsden City for putting this together. All the other coaches that come together for this, man, this is going to be a huge event down the road. I hope we keep it going, you know, grow momentum. I know Gadsden City's done a tremendous job, as y'all have also. So it's been a pleasure. Thank y'all for having us.
Well, it's a good win for us. Southside's a good team, and they've been playing well lately. And watching them over the last couple of days, you saw how well they shot in the first half, especially. They hit 7 threes, I believe, in the first half. But we came in at halftime, and I told the guys continue to battle, continue to work. So just one of those wins where you're extremely proud of your guys for not letting up. I mean, we got down early, and they just continued to chip their way back into it. And just a very good win, and you know, a good way to go into a little bit of a holiday break, just battling like they did, especially on the third day, a little bit of dead legs. Guys gave 100% effort until the entire game, so I'm super proud of my guys. And, it's a good win for us.
Joseph, just talk about that three-pointer to open overtime. Kind of step me through that play, if you will, because that obviously was a key turning point of this entire game.
Well, they called it for me. It's one of our plays, and you know, in my mind, I was just telling myself I'm about to bust it. And when I got it, I knocked it down, and we wanted to make a statement coming right out in overtime that they're not about to beat us. So.
Coach, just talk about that play, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the plays we have within our offense, and Joe had been shooting the ball well the entire game. We had gone a lot to the inside in the second half. That's kind of one of the things we wanted to change going into halftime. We did a good job of that, so we kind of wanted to mix it up and get a good look for one of our guards. And if they closed hard, I was telling Joe, make sure that, you know, if they close hard because he's been knocking shots down, then look on the inside because we got a secondary look within that. But Joe was open. We set good screens, executed the play extremely well out of the quarter.
Coach, talk defensively, especially with the gentleman sitting next to you. I mean, obviously it was his job to try to shut down Havian, and he did a pretty admirable job, I think. Just talk about his work.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew has been really a cornerstone for us this year at the point guard position, and then to ask him not only to do that, but then to step over and have to guard the other team's best player tonight. Normally, that's a job of one of these two guys, and so Andrew did a tremendous job on him. Our job, really, the goal tonight was he hurt us when we played him earlier this season, so we just wanted to deny and not let him get as many touches as he got against us before. And Andrew did a great job of that. And, I mean, again, third day, legs are a little bit dead, and you're having to run the point and guard another guy's best player. I mean, that's a tough job, and it's a testament to Andrew and the type of player that he is for us.
Andrew, when Coach Dickey came to you and said, I need you to shut him down, what was going through your mind?
I mean, I knew he was a good player. Like Coach said, he scored a lot of points on us this last time we played him, and their offense kind of runs through him. So I was just trying to be physical and disrupt him, get off this game.
Coach, I noticed you got down early, obviously, and you guys never blinked. You never panicked. I noticed a calm, steady occurrence. You never, even in your timeouts, I watched your body language. You never changed. Can you talk to me a little bit about how you stayed so calm, so steady, and it looked like it came through you to your players because you guys slowly worked your way back into the game?
Yeah, I mean, they were hot earlier. I think they scored on the first 6 possessions of the game. And a team it's going to be hard pressed to keep that up. number one. But at the same time, I know these guys. I mean, I'm with them every day, and so I know that they've got to, you know, they're willing to battle. They're willing to chip away at teams. When we've gotten down this year, we've never just kind of thrown in the towel and allowed a team to beat us worse. I mean, so I knew that we would chip back into it. That's what I told them at half. I think we cut it to a 6-point lead going into half, and that was really the goal going into halftime, because they pushed it out to 12, I believe, or 13, is to chip away at it. And then in the third quarter, they pushed it again back out to 10 or 9 going into the fourth. And I told the guys, I said, we're going to win it on the defensive end. And that's what they did. We gave up 6 points in the fourth quarter and overtime combined. And that's how you win games, is on the defensive end. And then the offense ultimately kind of rolled off of our defense. And so if I start freaking out when we're down 10, then these guys are going to do the same. And so I have to stay calm. And yes, I got on to them for a few things, but that's what we do as coaches, and they responded well.
Your defense on the Habian Twins is unprecedented. I haven't seen nobody do that all year. Was that something you really stressed going into this game, that we had to take away these two guys in order for us to win?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was on our scouting report. We talked about them and really kind of specified those two as their key players. If those guys are going, then the rest of the team's going to go. And today, you know, it's funny. We did a good job of taking them away, but they had other players that stepped up. 23 hit a lot of shots. I think he had 5 threes, and then number 20 as well shot it well from the outside. So that was our goal, was to take them out of the game and make those other guys have to step up. And they did step up, but I think in the end, our defense is what won us the game. I mean, it's that simple.
And I'll close with this, Coach. With area play upon us and everything, coming into this tournament, you've played everybody tough. You're going to finish third in this tournament. I know you're not happy. You'd rather win this tournament, but that's got to springboard you to win 2 games here at this tournament and continue into the area play.
Yeah. I mean, going into any tournament, especially in high school, you're going to play a definite 3 games. The goal is 3-0. There's only one team that does that. The next best thing is 2-1, and so that's what we did, you know, this week. And to go 2-1 in a tournament like this is a good thing. And yes, I believe. I mean, you can ask the guys. I was excited in the locker room because I think this is a type of springboard. It's one of, you know, I've told the guys throughout this year, we need to put 4 quarters together. We need to put 4 quarters together. And we need to put 4 quarters together, and they put 5. Tonight, and so that's exciting for me to see. Going into the area play, we got Sacred Heart next Friday night. It's our next game, and so having a good win like this against a good team is definitely a good thing going into a little bit of a break and then a game next Friday.
Hats off and 100% credit to Westbrook. They're a very good basketball team, very well coached, great players. Their guys really executed. They had a great game plan. Did a good job of taking us out of some things offensively, and they really did a great job defensively of protecting the paint, not fouling a whole lot, and just a lot of respect for those guys. They do a really good job. Wish them the best of luck going forward.
You guys had a 9-point lead there with I think it was 142 left in the third, and then they go on an 8-0 run. Cut it to 1 with 4 minutes left in the game. What did you tell your guys there? I know you kind of took a break right there.
We really, you know, a lot of our huddles were about composure. It was a really good environment, really great crowd. Both communities supporting both schools, which is what this should be. I like this game. I think it's a good rivalry game. I think it's a game people are emotional about. And so I definitely think the environment of the situation hopefully will prepare us for area games, for area tournament, for things like that going forward. So a lot of it was just composure. They did a good job of executing. During that 8-0 stretch, they threw the ball in the post a lot, played through Luttrell, played through Wales, and we had a little trouble guarding that. It was just about composure, just about staying there and keep fighting, staying together, you know, trying to get stops, trying to figure out how we're going to score on offense.
What point, or did fatigue play any factor at all in this?
You know, this time of year, everybody's playing a lot of games in a few days. I think this was our 6th game in 9 days. And that's not an excuse at all, because I'm sure they're in the same boat. We all play a lot of games around Christmas and tournaments. But it was. But, you know, at the end of the day, you want that. You want adversity. You want to have to fight. You want to have to kind of grind out wins down the stretch. again, everything we're doing right now is preparing us for a month from now in area tournament play. And so, there was some fatigue, I'm sure, on both sides of the ball, but I was really proud of our guys and how they just kept battling, kept fighting.
Coach, Colton Morrison stepped up huge right off the bat, got you out of the gate. Then they started kind of keying on him late in the game when you guys had the possession, come out of timeout, and you went to him. Talk a little bit about that play that you drew up. It's funny how it works. When shots are going in, we play really well. In the first 4 minutes of the ball game, we were making shots, and we had a lot of bounce to us and had a lot of juice to us. And they really kind of ramped up their defense, made it harder on us. They did a great job on Brockhaven. He didn't get anything clean tonight. They did a great job on Colton after he made some shots early. Tommy Simmons made a couple threes. They did a little bit better job on him down the stretch. But we just kind of, they were not helping a whole lot. So we were really trying to attack the rim and drive. And Blake did a great job of that. Jordan Grantley did a great job of that. Colton did a great job of that at times. But yeah, we came out at the time of tie ball game, a few seconds left to go in the ball game, and at the end of regulation, drew up a play, and we got a good shot. We just didn't go in. Had the ball in a fully capable player's hands, and he got a good look, and you live with those results. Talk to me a little bit about what this tournament means for you to play in this first one ever with your brother. Albeit you guys, didn't win this game, but it's got to be a great experience for both you guys, and a lot of people have come up to us, off the camera and saying, bragging on you guys. You talk about your experience in the tournament together.
It's been a great experience. I love the energy it brought. It was very exciting. It was a lot more. There's a lot more on basketball instead of anything else, and that's what's the best part about it because it's not really famous around here.
And if you got to talk to some other players you maybe want to talk to and meet and interact with some other guys that probably wouldn't have if we didn't have this tournament.
I believe so.
And back to you, Chad. That's what this is all about. I know you talked to me off the air about that, about getting to see some of these other guys play that you never got to see play.
It's a unique dynamic. I think this was a really good ticket tonight. I think us in Westbrook and Gadsden City and Etowah is a really good ticket for people to come watch and see good basketball. And that's what we've talked about all week. Is that's the hope that people will see from this. Is that there's good basketball in Etowah County, good players in Etowah County, great coaches in Etowah County. I think you've seen that tonight. It was a fun environment. We definitely enjoyed being a part of it.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chad.
Oh man, so much happened at the end, man. We were fortunate to get out there with the win. We had the game in hand. Then we tried to gift wrap it and give it back to the Blue Devils, but they realized they were fighting for Titan Nation and they weren't going to let that happen. So they fought hard, made a big play. Then we had a big charge taken by, was that Dismore? That charge got us the ball back. And then we also came away with a steal late, which was big. So my hats off to these guys. They fought. They took a lot out of it. The 3 days of running, both teams were tired, running on fumes, but I think they both gave a heck of a show.
Lee Pearson, he did what he does for you. 37 points. He put the team on his back tonight. Just talk about the play of him.
We've been wondering where that was. He started out the season. We missed out on it on Wednesday and Thursday. We was wondering had he lost it, but I think he just had it in his back pocket for tonight. He really came out blazing. He turned it loose, and when he turned it loose, it looked good. And we knew he was having that kind of night. And then I think he kind of bagged off. He's learning now how to play the game and not just because he's feeling it just to shoot it, but he mixed it up some, got to the basket a lot in the second half, drawn some fouls, got to the free throw line, got them in foul trouble. He's facilitating, and the better he gets, the better we're going to be down the road. So hats off to him. He's a heck of a player. He's a heck of a player.
You always play with passion, but I could tell you it's like he's playing with a little extra tonight. Just, was the last day of the ball game have anything to do with it? Was it just because this is the first tournament ever, combination of all? What was you feeling tonight?
The first tournament, yeah, but I hate losing to my friends. I don't want to talk about it with them. That's all.
Was you feeling it tonight before the game? Did you kind of have a feeling this might be a big game for you, or do you have any idea?
Yeah, I had a good shoot around this morning, so I was kind of feeling it when I came out.
I made him mad too because I told him he looked scared. He got mad at me.
Coach, I got a couple of questions for you. I want to start out with your decision in the second half, especially when you noticed DeRicky Wright and Graham started pounding the boards. You went with both your bigs. And I'm going to be honest with you, everybody sitting around when we started talking about it, and I noticed you went to that and you took that away from them, and all those possessions was huge. Can you talk a little bit about that decision?
Well, one of the reasons why we had taken or had just had surgery on his shoulder, and he felt something, and he came to the bench and he asked to come out. He went to the trainer, so it wasn't our decision just to pull him out. And I think they recognized he was down. They went after him a little bit, just like I think late they recognized that he had started cramping. They started really trying to press us, but it wasn't our decision. But when he came back, it was a great relief to know that he could continue to go, because you just can't coach size, and he's got size.
I want to commend both of those guys. You guys talk about your defense tonight on Graham, but for the most part, he struggled throughout the game. Testament to you guys and your backside help.
Yeah, they did. They stayed to the game plan. I think the guards dug a little bit to keep Graham from getting the position he wanted to get. He had to turn to make quick decisions instead of making his mind up as he wanted, whenever he wanted to. They got some guys that can shoot the basketball, and I think they didn't have a chance to spot up and shoot it. We were running at them. We was getting to them quick. We was going to make them beat us from the outside. We weren't going to let, and we know they was going to feed off Graham, so we couldn't let him have a big play, a big moment. He had a big dunk in the first half, but we knew we couldn't allow him to get too many big plays because they feed off of his energy, and he has a lot of energy.
Last question is for D. 2.5 seconds. You're at home hosting this first annual tournament. At the free throw line with a chance to seal it, what was going through your mind?
Make the free throws.
Well, we see that happen because we're all sitting in here.
Coach Huff, you've been around a long time, and you've said multiple times this is something you never really thought you would see. What does this mean to you?
Hey man, this is special, and these guys gonna find out a couple of years down the road that how special this really is. The first Gadsden area Christmas Classic, all teams in Etowah County participating in one tournament together, and I think that all teams represented their schools well. I thought this was a great tournament. The turnout was great. I thought it was good for this community, and it's good for basketball in this area. You know, and I'm excited. I'm excited to be the coach to win the first championship. There'll be plenty more championships, but there'll never be another first.